The giant worm, now exposed to the open air, screamed and slid upward, its hunger unbearable. It turned toward the nearest source of food. Zainara Hadima had always been a dreamer. From the time she was a little girl growing up in the city of Zaraka, she had fantasized about walking on grand stages, wearing elegant gowns, and hearing crowds chant her name. She was beautiful, tall, with a striking face but fat, and that was what people always reminded her of. Modeling is for slim girls, they would say. You are pretty, but you don't have the body for it. But Zai ignored them, refusing to let their words crush her dream. After completing her university education, she started considering a career in modeling. One day, she sat with her mother and shared her desire to contest in the Miss Empire beauty pageant. Her mother sighed, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "It is a good dream, my daughter," she said. "But pageantry is not for the faint-hearted. It is a tough world, full of rejection and competition. And rejection, my dear, can be very painful. Maybe you should channel your energy somewhere else." But Zai refused to be discouraged. If others could do it, why couldn't she? When it was time for her National Youth Service Corps NISC, she prayed to be posted to Velmos, a city she had heard was the land of opportunities, a place where dreams could become reality. When the posting results came out, her heart pounded as she checked her name. She had been posted to Velmos. Zainara screamed with joy. This was a step closer to her dreams. Days later, Zainara arrived at the NISC orientation camp, full of hope and excitement. She quickly made friends, but one person stood out. Dahlia. Dahlia was everything society said a model should be: slim, tall, with effortless elegance. Heads turned whenever she walked past. One evening, as they sat under the shade of a mango tree, Zai confided in Dahlia about her dream of becoming Miss Empire. Dahlia chuckled, shaking her head. "Zainara, I love your confidence, but beauty queens have to be slim. It's just the way it is." Zai's heart sank, but she masked her disappointment with a smile. Seeing her friend's determination, Dahlia softened. "But there are different kinds of modeling," she added. "You may not fit the pageantry standard, but you can model for brands, commercials, and plus-size fashion. I know an agency that can help. Let me give you their contact." Zainara smiled, holding onto the card Dahlia handed her like a lifeline. Her days at the NISC camp were filled with unforgettable moments. She participated in every competition her platoon signed up for, including the camp beauty pageant. She lost, as expected, but she didn't let it break her spirit. Instead, she told herself, one day, prove them all wrong. Weeks later, camp ended. Zainara and Dahlia were posted to different places for their primary place of assignment PPA and parted ways. But Zai carried with her the agency contact Dahlia had given her, along with a renewed sense of hope. She was now in Velmos, the city of dreams. Her journey was just beginning. Zainara stood in front of Oasis Modeling Agency, gripping the agency card Dahlia had given her. Her heart pounded against her chest. This was her first step into the world she had always dreamed of. She took a deep breath and walked in. The moment she entered, the entire room went silent. Dozens of tall, slim girls turned to look at her, their eyes raking over her body, full of questions she could almost hear in their heads. What is she doing here? Does she know where she is? Zainara's confidence wavered, but she straightened her shoulders and kept walking. She refused to let their stares intimidate her. She had as much right to be here as anyone else. Ignoring their whispers and sneers, Zainara walked confidently to the registration desk. She picked up a pen and wrote down her name. Her hands trembled slightly, but she reminded herself why she was here. She had a dream, and she would go for it no matter what. She found a seat at the far end of the waiting area, her hands clenched in two fists. Some of the girls were whispering, throwing quick glances in her direction. Zai ignored them. She had been underestimated her entire life. This was nothing new. Then, a slender girl with sharp cheekbones slid into the seat next to her. "I'm Tenny," she said with a friendly smile. "First time here?" "Yes," Zainara replied, adjusting her dress. I'm a corps member presently serving here in Velmos, Tenny chuckled. Welcome to the jungle, my sister. Oasis holds open auditions every Thursday. I've been coming here for the past 3 months. It's tough, my dear. These girls will do anything to get picked. Hope you can deal. Zainara swallowed hard. She had no plan, she just had to make it through. Hours later, a stern-looking woman with a clipboard walked into the room. She called Zainara's name. Taking a deep breath, Zai rose and walked into the audition room. 3 judges sat behind a long glass table, with Madame O seated in the middle. The moment Zainara entered, Madame O and the other judges exchanged glances, their eyes filled with amusement and confusion. What is she doing here? One of them muttered. Under her breath, Madame O smirked. Let's see what you've got, she said, her voice laced with sarcasm. Walk for us. Zainara took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and walked. She moved with grace, her confidence unwavering, but as she walked, the 3 women burst into laughter. Their mocking giggles echoed around the room. You're fat, Madame O sneered, shaking her head. Do you think your pretty face alone will get you anywhere? Modeling is about the body. Go cut your fat first. Zainara felt as though the walls had collapsed around her. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She turned and walked out of the room, her vision blurring as soon as she stepped outside. The humiliation washed over her. The rejection stung deeper than she had imagined. She had come so far, only to be turned down by Madame O's words. Tenny walked up to her, arms folded. I told you this place was a jungle, she said, but her voice was soft. Zainara sniffed, trying to control her emotions. She called me fat. Tenny sighed and placed a hand on her shoulder. If you really want this, Tenny said, her voice lower than before, you need to be willing to do whatever it takes. Zai looked at her, her eyes still red from crying. What do you mean? Tenny glanced around, ensuring no one was listening. Then she leaned in and whispered, there's a doctor in Maruka who can help. He has a special treatment, a quick way to shed weight. Zainara frowned. A doctor? What kind of treatment? Tenny shrugged. It's just an injection. Safe. A lot of girls in the industry use it, even some of the top models and actresses. You'll lose weight fast and get the body they want. Zainara hesitated. It sounded too easy, but the echoes of Madame O's words rang in her head. Go cut your fat. She swallowed hard. Will it really work? Tenny smiled. Trust me, you'll be unrecognizable in weeks. Zai closed her eyes, then exhaled deeply. Okay, she whispered. Take me there. Tenny took Zainara to a small clinic hidden deep within Maruka. The walls were lined with posters advertising guaranteed weight loss and get the perfect body in weeks. The air smelled of antiseptic and desperation. Dr. Lael, a man with piercing eyes and an unsettling smile, greeted them. You're here because you want to be a model? He asked, sizing Zai up like a product on a shelf. Zainara nodded. Yes, sir. I need to lose weight fast. Dr. Lael smirked. Fast weight loss is dangerous, but I have something that works. Zainara hesitated. She had heard stories of models going to extreme lengths, but she never thought she would be one of them. She glanced at Tenny, who nodded reassuringly. Do you want this or not? Dr. Lael asked, taking a deep breath. Zainara nodded. I will do it. Dr. Lael pulled out a small syringe filled with a clear liquid. This is Slimtox. It will help you burn fat, but you must follow strict rules. No overstressing. Eat healthy. Taking a deep breath, Zainara stretched out her arm. Dr. Lael injected the Slimtox into her veins. Over the next few weeks, Zainara's transformation was drastic. Her clothes became loose, her face sharpened, and her cheekbones stood out. People noticed. Her weight loss was unbelievable. She dropped from 90 kilograms to 70 kilograms in just 6 weeks. By the time she reached 65 kilograms, Zainara barely recognized herself in the mirror. She loved every bit of her new body. Feeling confident, she walked back into a modeling agency. This time, the stares were different. People no longer whispered in mockery. They watched in admiration. When Zainara walked into the audition room, Madame O looked her over and nodded. You have improved, she said. Let's see you walk. Zainara strode across the room, elegance in every step. The laughter from the last audition was gone. When she finished, Madame O clapped her hands together. You're in, she announced. Welcome to Oasis Modeling Agency. Tears of joy welled up in Zainara's eyes. She had done it. She had proven them wrong. But deep inside, something felt off. Something was changing within her, and she had no idea how much she had truly sacrificed. Zainara's success at Oasis Modeling Agency was a dream come true, but the price of her transformation soon became evident. At first, everything seemed perfect. She basked in the admiration of others, her newfound slim figure, opening doors she had never imagined. She was booked for her first runway show, and with every step she took down the catwalk, she felt unstoppable. However, beneath the surface, her body was suffering. The Slimtox injection was stripping her of fat at an alarming rate, but it had. The world spun, and before she knew it, she collapsed on the studio floor. Gasps filled the air as models and instructors rushed to her side. Madame O frowned, her expression unreadable. You need to maintain your strength, Zainara. Are you eating properly? Zainara nodded weakly, though she knew the truth. Her appetite had vanished. And no matter how much she tried to eat, food barely stayed down. The worst came one night when she stood before a mirror in her apartment. Her ribs were beginning to protrude. Dark circles shadowed her once bright eyes. Her skin had lost its glow. She barely recognized herself. A knock on the door startled her. It was Tenny. You don't look well, Tenny said, stepping inside and looking her over. Are you sure you're okay? Zainara forced a smile. I'm fine, just tired. Tenny hesitated. I've seen this happen before. You need to slow down. But Zainara wasn't ready to listen. She had fought so hard to get here, she couldn't stop now. Days later, during an important photo shoot, her body finally gave out. As the cameras flashed, her vision blurred. She collapsed, unconscious. Zainara woke up in a small room. Her body felt weak. Her head pounded. A white ceiling loomed above her, blurring as she tried to sit up, but her limbs felt like lead. A soft beeping sound echoed in the sterile room. Her heartbeat, slow and erratic, monitored by a machine beside her bed. Dr. Lale stood at the foot of the bed, his face unreadable. You're lucky to be alive, he said. Your body is shutting down. The Slimtox injection is reacting negatively to your system. You cannot continue using it. Zainara's heart pounded. No, doctor. I can't stop now, she said, desperation thick in her voice. I'm still growing in my career. I need this. Dr. Lale sighed, rubbing his temples. There is another option, he said finally. He walked over to his desk, pulled open a drawer, and took out a small wooden box. Placing it on the table, he opened it slowly. Inside, nestled in soft cloth, was a small pale egg. This, he said, is a taper egg. Zainara frowned. A taper worm? Dr. Lale nodded. It will help improve your appetite while maintaining a healthy weight. The taper will consume excess calories, allowing you to eat moderately without gaining weight. In 6 months, it will be extracted from your system. Zainara barely hesitated. She picked up the egg from the box, examining it with trembling fingers. She had come too far to let anything slip away now. Tenny, who had been sitting silently, gasped. Zai, this is crazy. You can't do this. Zainara ignored her, looking straight at Dr. Lale. Will this keep me in shape? She asked. Dr. Lale nodded. Yes. But you must be careful. If you overfeed it, it may grow too strong. Without another word, Zainara popped the egg into her mouth and swallowed it whole. Tenny covered her mouth in horror. What have you done? Zainara wiped her lips, her eyes burning with determination. I just secured my future. Days later, Zainara was back at Oasis Modeling Agency, looking healthier, but still trim. The agency welcomed her with open arms, oblivious to the dark secret lurking within her. After Zainara's return, she was desperate to get back in shape. She was losing deals as brands now saw her as too skinny. Determined to regain her appeal, she started eating like a glutton, ignoring Dr. Lail's instructions to eat moderately. Within 2 weeks, she had gotten back in shape. At first, everything seemed perfect. Zainara was thriving at Oasis modeling. As days passed, her hunger became unbearable. No matter how much she ate, she always craved more. She tried to ignore it, to suppress the gnawing emptiness in her stomach, but it grew stronger each day. One night, she woke up drenched in sweat, her stomach twisting painfully. She rushed to the kitchen, devouring everything in sight: bread, rice, fruit, anything to fill the void. But no matter how much she ate, the hunger remained. Tenny noticed the changes. "Zainara, are you okay? You eat so much, but you still look the same. It's like the food just disappears inside you." Zainara forced a smile. "I'm fine, Tenny. I'm just stressed." But she wasn't fine. Something inside her was consuming her from within. During a major fashion shoot, she felt something shift inside her. A searing pain shot through her stomach. She clutched her abdomen, barely able to stand. The photographer's voice faded as her vision blurred. Then darkness. Zainara woke up in her apartment, sprawled on the floor, her body drenched in sweat. Tenny was hovering over her, fear in her eyes. "You collapsed at the shoot," Tenny said. "I had to bring you home." Zainara tried to sit up, but pain racked her body. She felt something move inside her, a wriggling sensation deep in her gut. Her breath hitched. Panic clawed at her throat. She stumbled to the mirror, lifting her shirt. Her stomach, once toned and perfect, was now slightly bloated. She pressed her fingers against her abdomen and gasped. Something slithered beneath her skin. A sharp knock startled her. She turned to see Tenny, holding her phone. "Dr. Lail has been calling," Tenny said. "He wants to speak with you." Zainara's heart pounded. She grabbed the phone with trembling hands and pressed it to her ear. "Doctor, something is wrong. Something strange is moving inside my body." Dr. Lail's voice was calm but firm. "I was afraid of this. You have overfed it." Zainara's blood ran cold. "What do I do?" Dr. Lail exhaled. "You need to come in immediately. If we don't remove it soon, it will take full control." Zainara's legs gave out beneath her. She clutched the phone, her breathing ragged. She had wanted beauty, perfection, but at what cost? As she stared at her reflection in the mirror, watching the faint movement beneath her skin, she realized the truth. She was no longer in control. Quickly, she changed into something simple, grabbed her bag, and rushed out of the house. The streets of Lazora blurred past her as she struggled to breathe, dread settling in her stomach. She needed to get rid of it. Now, when she arrived at Dr. Lail's clinic, he wasted no time. He pointed to the examination table. "Lie down," he instructed. Moments later, Dr. Lail asked her to sit up. His face was grim. "You have overfed it," he said. "It's too big now. It must come out." Zainara's breath quickened. "What do I do?" she asked, panic rising in her voice. Dr. Lail handed her a small bottle. "This is a worm expeller. Take it once you get home, but you must not eat anything for 2 hours after that. It will force its way out. And once the worm is out," his gaze darkened, "you must grab it by the head and kill it." Zainara's eyes widened. "Kill it?" she echoed in fear. "Yes, you heard me right." Zainara nodded hesitantly, grabbed the bottle, and hurried home. The moment she entered her apartment, she went straight to the bathroom, locked the door, and collapsed onto the cold floor. She took the pill and stripped down, throwing on something light before stepping into the bathtub. The weight was agonizing. Hunger gnawed at her, but she clenched her fists, willing herself to stay still. An hour passed, then another. Just when she thought nothing was going to happen, a sudden, excruciating pain ripped through her abdomen. She screamed, her body convulsing as the thing inside her began to move. "Zai!" Tenny's voice echoed from outside the bathroom door. "What's happening? Open the door!" But Zainara ignored her, clutching her stomach as the pain intensified. Slowly, the massive taper began to emerge. Her cries filled the room as inch by inch, the monstrous parasite slid out of her body. The moment it was fully expelled, she collapsed against the tub, gasping for air, momentarily relieved. Instead of killing it, like Dr. Lail had instructed, she grabbed it by the head and threw it out. of the bathtub, disgusted. Big mistake. Now exposed to open air, the giant worm screeched and reared upward, its hunger unbearable. It turned toward the nearest source of food. Zai Nara. In a split second, the monstrous tapir lunged at her. She barely had time to scream before it latched onto her face, its slimy body wrapping around her head. In an instant, it sank its teeth into her eyes, burrowing deep into her skull. Zainara's body jerked violently, then went still. Outside, Tenny, now in full panic, slammed against the bathroom door. Zainara, open up! Finally, with all her strength, she forced the door open and froze in horror. Her best friend's lifeless body lay sprawled in the bathtub, blood pooling around her head. The monstrous tapir writhed on the floor, its soulless black eyes scanning its surroundings hungrily. Tenny's knees buckled, and before she could even scream, she passed out from the horror. In that moment, the worm found a new host. It slithered toward her, creeping up her body, and slowly disappeared into her open mouth, and the cycle started again. Zainara's tragic story is a chilling reminder. Self-acceptance is key. No dream is worth losing oneself for, and in the pursuit of beauty or success, one must never sacrifice their health, sanity, or life. If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more, please consider subscribing to this channel. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you'll be the first to know when another video is posted. You can also check out these videos here. I promise you won't be disappointed. Until we meet again in the next video, stay safe, stay true, and remain blessed.